morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Today I'm cooking lamb shanks. I'm going to pour some buttermilk on them because I want to make sure my seasonings stick to them, I should say. Well, today we're going into the 60s, mid 60s, and then we're plunging back down, and then we're going back in the 70s, and we'll go back down into the 50s. I mean, this is a roller coaster ride with the weather. Just when I think I can get rid of my winter clothes for the summer, but it'll probably level off in time. Now, you know the flour mixture that I always use. I've always talked about it, and I sift it and all. Well, today I added millet flour because I didn't have enough, so I added millet flour to it, which will give it a different flavor, and I didn't get my oil out. Let's see, this one's, yeah, this is what I want. Don't worry, I'll be with you in a minute. I'm just putting some oil in my pan because we're going to braise these, and I want to make sure. Okay, now I have my herb blend for wild game. I know lamb is not, but the combination smells so good. Sometimes you have to go out because something smells good. You're going to try it anyway. I should know. I do it all the time. You see me do it all the time, so I'll show you. I already coated these in buttermilk. So I'll put them together. And turn them over. Now I'm going to flour them. I think you can see me floured right here. Give them a good coat because you don't want your seasonings to fall off. I know some seasonings are going to fall off. I mean, that's standard, but you don't want them all to fall off. If it falls off into the flour, I can always use it again. That's how I look at it. Now, because these are the shanks, you know there is not much fat on them. So this is going to take a while. vegetable stock. Just moving these so I can do the next one. I usually look 1 shank per person. That's how I'm doing it. And I'm going to serve it with something that I can, which is garbanzo beans, I think, with zucchini and tomatoes, and serve that over rice next to this. Any gravy I make, I will pour over the meat, not over the rice. And see, when you wet it, you don't waste as much seasoning. That's why I use buttermilk or yogurt to hold on to get the seasonings. Water splatters. So if you have water on your meat, you'll notice that you get more popping and stuff because water and oil don't mix. If you make your own vinaigrette, you know when you do the oil and the vinegar, it pops. It doesn't mix when you make a dressing. That's why you beat it before you pour it over the salad. Some cultures like to put the oil on first and then the vinegar. But this is called, the vegetables I'm serving, this is, no, it's got pumpkin and zucchini and I think some tomatoes in it, and it's called butternut squash and chickpeas. My mistake. I canned it 2 years ago. No, we're in 24 now? No, last year I canned it. Just getting ready to move you over. We're going to braise these. A bit crowded. No, don't worry, they shrink anyway. I'm not interested in braising them in a hurry. I want to braise them nice. And remember, for your new members, braising means browning. Let me get this put up. So see, you can use your whole grains. You don't have to use them constantly just for bread. Sometimes I put some of them into my pasta making. I'll use them as flour. When I'm doing this. I'm going to be braising these. So when I get done braising them, I will sit there and bring you back, and we'll move to the next step of whatever I'm thinking of doing, which I never really know. Okay, as you can see, they've braised. I'm going to add some extra pepper to this. Now remember, lambs stand on their legs a lot, and they use their legs a lot. So this is what you call the tough meat. What you have to do is you're going to have to cook it for some hours to get it really tender. When you think about meat that you're buying, always remember, like the neck bones of a cow, or if you wish to say beef, I thought it was tender enough because the fork went through it, but the tendons that held it to the bone didn't let go, so it would have to be pressure cooked or cooked longer boiling. The same thing with these. I'm not going to pressure cook these. I'm going to cook these for a long time and reduce the stock as well as it cooks to tenderize this meat up so it can come off. But always think of the cuts of meat that you actually buy. If it's a tough meat, you'll get it at a cheaper price, but you have to work at it harder to cook it and get it where you want it. Whereas the tender cuts are usually much more expensive. They need very little cooking. So always think about that when you're dealing with meats and animals. If you think about how they move and stuff, you can sit there and pretty much judge what you have to do back and forth with them, with the cuts that you have to make them work for your family. So listen, I'm going to be cooking this for hours, okay? So I'll close this video down because I'm going to bring it to a boil, put the lid on it, and then I'm going to simmer it and just let it, just all these flavors come together. So there'll be a part 2 on this so you can see, because I'm not going to leave the phone on hold all day while I'm cooking this. All right, well, at least until late this morning, because I have to get my meal together for my sons to take to work. So I'll see you then in part 2.